Real estate investing has created more ordinary millionaires than almost any other asset class, yet it remains one of the most misunderstood. Beginners often approach it as a shortcut to wealth drawn by stories of leverage, passive income, and rapid appreciation. The books that actually help investors master real estate do the opposite. They slow you down. They force you to think in systems, cash flow risk, and long-term responsibility. Real estate, when done well, is not a speculative game. It is a discipline that rewards patient structure and respect for downside more than cleverness. One of the most foundational books for understanding real estate investing is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. While often criticized for its lack of tactical depth, its influence in real estate education is undeniable. Its real contribution is not how to buy property, but why property matters. Kiyosaki reframes real estate as a cash flow producing asset rather than a status symbol. He teaches readers to distinguish between a home that consumes income and property that generates it. For aspiring real estate investors, this mindset shift is essential. Without it, property becomes another form of lifestyle inflation rather than a tool for financial independence. A more practical and grounding book is The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. Based on interviews with hundreds of successful investors, this book strips away myths and focuses on patterns. The most consistent lesson is that real estate success is boring. Profitable investors buy, conservatively focus on cash flow, understand their markets deeply, and repeat simple processes over time. Keller emphasizes education, team building, and long-term thinking rather than quick flips or speculative appreciation. This book teaches that mastery in real estate comes from consistency, not intensity. Another essential read is the book on rental property investing by Brandon Turner. This book excels at translating theory into practical understanding without glamorizing risk. Turner explains how cash flow works, how leverage amplifies outcomes in both directions, and why buying good deals is less important than buying good properties in good systems. The emphasis on reserves, conservative assumptions, and realistic timelines aligns closely with what actually keeps investors solvent across cycles. For beginners, this book demystifies real estate without overselling it. For understanding real estate as a long-term wealth vehicle rather than a transactional hustle, The Millionaire Next Door plays an important supporting role, even though it is not a real estate book per se. Many of the quietly wealthy profiled in the book built their net worth through modest rental portfolios accumulated over decades. They avoided flashy properties, lived below their means, and reinvested cash flow. This perspective is crucial. Real estate works best when it is paired with lifestyle restraint. Without that restraint, rental income is often consumed rather than compounded. Another classic that shapes real estate thinking is The Intelligent Investor, not for property tactics, but for philosophy. Benjamin Graham's concepts of margin of safety risk versus speculation and emotional discipline apply directly to real estate. Buying property with thin margins, optimistic rent assumptions, or reliance on appreciation mirrors speculative stock behavior. The best real estate investors apply Graham's mindset instinctively. They buy with buffers, plan for vacancy and repairs, and ensure the deal survives even if things go wrong. Across all these books, a consistent theme emerges. Real estate rewards those who think like operators, not gamblers. Cash flow matters more than appreciation. Conservative assumptions beat optimistic projections. Leverage is powerful, but unforgiving. Most importantly, real estate investing is a business, not a side hobby. Properties demand management reserves and decision-making, even when marketed as passive. The books that endure do not deny this reality. They prepare you for it. Part 1 shows that mastering real estate begins with mental discipline before financial leverage. The best books do not encourage you to rush into deals. They encourage you to understand market's numbers and yourself. They teach you to respect risk long before you seek reward. And it is exactly here, when real estate investing is reframed as a long-term operating system, rather than a quick path to riches, that the deeper lessons begin to emerge, and the story has not yet fully unfolded, because real mastery in real estate investing is revealed not when markets are rising and deals are plentiful, but when conditions tighten, mistakes surface, and patience is tested. Part 2 focuses on how the best real estate books prepare investors for longevity rather than excitement, and why so many people fail not from lack of opportunity, but from misaligned expectations and unmanaged risk. One of the most important lessons that emerges across advanced real estate books is the danger of over-leveraging early success. Leverage is real estate's defining feature and its greatest threat. In good times, leverage magnifies confidence. In bad times, it magnifies error. Books like The Millionaire Real Estate Investor and the book on rental property investing repeatedly stress conservative financing, fixed-rate debt, and strong reserves. The lesson is not to fear leverage, but to respect its asymmetry. A deal that works only when everything goes right is not a deal. The professionals build portfolios that can survive vacancy rate changes, repairs, and downturns without forcing sales. Survival, not speed, is the real advantage. Another critical insight is that cash flow is not optional. It is protection. Appreciation is unpredictable and uncontrollable. Cash flow is immediate and stabilizing. The best books teach investors to underwrite deals, assuming modest rent growth, realistic expenses, and downtime between tenants. When cash flow is strong, patience becomes possible. When cash flow is weak, every surprise becomes a crisis. This is why experienced investors pass on good-looking deals that do not cash flow. They are not pessimistic. They are disciplined. Real estate books that endure also emphasize systems over hustle. Beginners often believe success comes from working harder, finding off-market deals, or constantly expanding. Long-term investors know that scalability comes from repeatable processes, acquisition criteria, property management standards, maintenance protocols, and financial tracking. The moment real estate depends entirely on your constant attention, it stops being an asset and starts being a job. Mastery means designing operations so that decisions are predictable and stress is contained. Another lesson that separates professionals from amateurs is market intimacy. National trends matter far less than local dynamics. The best real estate investors know their neighborhoods deeply. Tenant demand, employment drivers, zoning rules, school districts, and supply constraints. Books consistently warn against chasing hot markets without local understanding. Real estate punishes ignorance quietly and rewards familiarity patiently. Mastery comes from depth, not breadth. A subtle but crucial theme in advanced real estate books is lifestyle alignment. Rental income does not create wealth if it is consumed. The millionaire next door perspective reappears here strongly. Investors who succeed reinvest cash flow for years before upgrading lifestyle. Those who treat early income as permission to spend often stall. Real estate wealth is built through delayed gratification extended over long periods. The books do not frame this as sacrifice, but as strategy. Consumption too early interrupts compounding. Another powerful lesson is knowing when not to grow. Many real estate failures come from expansion at the wrong time. Markets change. Personal capacity changes. Financing conditions shift. The best investors slow down when deals stop meeting criteria. They hold cash. They maintain properties well. They wait. Books that teach mastery normalize inactivity. Doing nothing is often the most profitable decision available. Perhaps the most important long-term insight is that real estate investing is a character test. It rewards those who can plan conservatively, communicate clearly, and act patiently. It punishes optimism, ego, and impatience. The books that endure do not glamorize wealth. They emphasize responsibility. Tenants, lenders, partners, and communities are all affected by your decisions. Mastery requires ethical consistency as much as financial skill. When Part 1 and Part 2 are taken together, a clear picture forms. Real estate investing is not mastered through tricks or timing. It is mastered through disciplined systems, margin of safety, and long-term alignment between behavior and goals. The books that matter most do not teach you how to get rich quickly. They teach you how not to fail slowly. And this is where the story ultimately settles. The top real estate investing books succeed because they strip away fantasy and replace it with reality. They show that real estate is powerful precisely because it is boring when done correctly. It compounds quietly for those who respect risk-build margin and remain patient across cycles. Mastery in real estate is not about dominating the market. It is about building something that can survive it.